Well, hello and welcome to the Prospect Blueprint, the podcast that helps student athletes, their parents, coaches, and others that support them to chart out their best options to get to the next level, whatever that next level might be. It could be Little League, it could be high school, it could be college, it could be professional baseball. Today's episode tackles one of the biggest topics in sports, the NIL, and the financial responsibilities that come with it, and there are plenty of them. As NIL continues to evolve or run out of control, more athletes are earning money through endorsements, appearances, sponsorships, social media partnerships, and I know a lot about that, and of course other opportunities. But with that income comes a challenge that many athletes just aren't prepared for, and that's tracking the earnings, staying organized, and preparing for taxes without the expense of hiring an expensive accounting firm. Now that's the growing problem, and now for a solution. Our guest has developed an app specifically designed to help athletes manage their NIL income, track payments and deals, organize financial records, wow, and avoid costly taxes and the surprises that come with not filing your taxes down the road. This is one of those conversations that every athlete, parent, coach, and even college program should probably have with their players. And the NIL is no longer in the future. Let's face it, it's happening right now. And our guest is Alex Cowley, and the product is Taxletic. Let's jump into it. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, Kelly.
Filling your taxes. Is that the same as filing? I guess so, right? Right?
Close enough.
Hopefully you're filling income into your bank accounts. But let's
Yeah,
get to the
exactly.
questions because many people might have them. I'm not sure exactly what the percentage of people who are getting NIL money is, but it is ever changing. And so you should have this information. What inspired you to build Taxletic to begin with? Was there a specific athlete story that lit the fire?
Not necessarily. I did come across one story. It escapes my mind right now, but just looking at the overall landscape of collegiate sports and seeing how big NIL is getting, and just picturing how the professionals struggle to manage their money. I can only imagine kids, teenagers, young men are going to run into the same issue. So I just wanted to get in front of that and get ahead of that to be a change that they can just to be a change in the trajectory of that. So I just wanted to be in the forefront.
Yeah, and a lot of these student athletes who are getting it come from backgrounds that aren't immersed in the knowledge of taxation and keeping financial records, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Financial literacy is not very, very common amongst these athletes and their family background. So it's important to educate them, and I think education is the starting point, and will set you up for financial success later on in life.
Yeah, it makes sense to be responsible financially. I probably could have learned that at a younger age too. It would have been beneficial to me. But anyway, walk us through what happens when an athlete signs their first NIL deal, basically, maybe ignores their taxes. How bad can it get?
Man, it can get bad. I mean, you can get penalized up to 25%. So, once you sign up, make an account, you log your deals, and it'll just keep track of, okay, this is how much you should set aside for your taxes. So when season time comes around, which is 4 times a year, you're prepared and you're not surprised, and you haven't spent all your money. And it's just a record keeping so that you stay on top of it and don't fall behind, and don't, like I said, get surprised when it's time to pay Uncle Sam.
It's record keeping for dummies, so to speak. Guilty as charged over here, but it's gamified. So go into that whole gamification thing and then explain what the TRS rating system is as well.
Yeah, for sure. Taxes are daunting. They're intimidating. So I wanted to, even for adults, so I wanted to make it user friendly, approachable for high school athletes, college athletes. So what I did was I made a trading card, kind of like what you do in the video games that they play, Madden and NBA 2K, and the TRS is just a rating system, just like a player rating that they get, and it just is a just is your health check, your financial health check, your tax health check, but it's just in a way that's familiar to the athletes, and they can share their trading card with their score on it, and it just makes it a competitive, friendly kind of approach to the whole taxation industry, financial industry.
Now, the athlete doesn't necessarily have to be the one that implements this. It could be the parent, it could be some other person, an advisor of sorts.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, um, if an athlete doesn't want to be too heavily involved or is not old enough of age to really track this, they can definitely have their parents linked to their accounts, or a financial advisor or a mentor help them along the way as well. So the parents, and they have their own profile separately from the athlete, so they can both stay in sync and on top of it.
Now, you pretty much just touched on this next question, but it's important because you mentioned age, and most of these athletes are between 18 and 22 years old, so that uh,
It should even 16.
they're motivated.
I just heard that these little kids in these youth leagues are maybe starting to get NIL, so it might
Yeah,
be even younger than that.
yeah, but that's outside of the NCAA, so
Yeah,
that's just separate, completely separate. They don't fall under the guidelines that are
yeah,
necessary or that are forever evolving.
right.
So you designed it so it's just easy to use, so it is gamified. So essentially, we're looking at an app. Hey, I just got a deal with. I'll give you an example. So I've got two sons who played D1 baseball. One is retired in getting his master's degree at Pepperdine as a
Right.
psychologist. The other one's still playing in Japan, but they were getting deals. They were getting drink deals. They were getting post this for $200 because they have a lot of followers, and that would be the kind of thing that you would just simply log in, say I got $200. It'll show you what you are responsible for from a taxation standpoint, or it would just keep track, and that's really what you're asking them to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they log it. It tells them how much they need to set aside, and then when it is time to pay their taxes, this by no means taking place of a CPA or a financial advisor. It's just to put things in better organization for them, because within the app, the athlete or the parent creates what we call a tax pack, and that just summarizes everything that the athlete has submitted on the app and presents it in an organized fashion for the CPA and financial advisor to then handle the taxes. So cutting back on their time spent
Mm,
trying
yeah.
to figure out what where all this money is, and kind of having everything all over the place, and making sure that the athlete has all the documents that's already there, and that makes their job streamlined, and uh, cuts back and allows them to see more clients and be more specific to what their client needs, versus being all over the place, and trying to put pieces to the puzzle together on the fly.
Yeah, trying to find the receipts and the
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all
deposit
there.
slips. It's
Yeah,
a big
absolutely.
headache.
Yeah,
So I guess that explains how the parent dashboard changes the family dynamic around NIL money for the most part. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's so the parents do have participation in it, which I think is pretty important. So how does Taxletic handle athletes and states, because each one has very different tax rules?
Yeah, so it specifies, it kind of based upon where the athlete's home school is, where they go to school, and that's where the taxes are calculated based on what state your school is in. And so everything is for the most part personalized to that athlete. It's not just a general broad tax savings. It's more specific to where you're at, what deals you're getting, and calculates it that way.
State specific tax regulations,
Right.
so you know where you're at, because you might be a player who is in California, but you're playing in Virginia. So
Right.
you're going to be, if you're now living in Virginia, you've got to be somewhat cognizant of the Virginia tax laws or whatever.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So because this is gamified, now, which is really interesting to, what I like about it is that it's gamified. It's in a language that kids understand. I call them kids. They really are from 18 to 22. They're young men, but
Yeah.
realistically, I
Young
don't
men,
think
yeah,
they're kids until they're 30, in my opinion, but that's a whole other
yeah,
story.
yeah,
But nonetheless, they understand the gamification. They love it. I think it's a great way to teach people how to do things, and it's somewhat competitive. So you've got a really interesting system. What does an All-American rated athlete look inside the app, and how do they get there?
yeah. That's a great question. So All American is the top tier. That's the one that is on it from the jump. They set up their profile, they log their deals, they upload a profile picture. They're they're letting the system know how much they would like to set aside, because you can set more aside than what is recommended. So it's somebody that's connecting their deals with their contracts, and making sure that they're paying on time, and really just always logging and being consistent on the app, and making sure every deal they get um, is tracked, because nobody else is going to do it. Right? It's not up to their agent or their parents. It's up to the athlete to make sure that they're being responsible. So that's an All American.
Yeah. What's the biggest misconception athletes have about NIL income and taxes?
To me, I just think that it's that they don't owe anybody. It's all theirs. It just they pocket it right away, and it just they just start spending it and spending it, and before you know it, they're in trouble. And I think that's just the biggest misconception. I um, just don't want them to get caught up in that cycle, and that, because it's hard to get out of once you just you want to take care of your mom, you want to buy this and take care of your friends. So I just think that's the biggest misconception, is that it's theirs to just to go at, and not set anything aside.
This seems to me as though it would be for somebody who maybe would, amongst other people, maybe be in a position where they don't want to have to hire an accountant, where they don't want to have to give a certain percentage away to an advisor, where for some reason, and it could be trust issues, they want to handle their own finances as well. And I'm not saying that that would be your primary user, but it makes sense to me to have something that's like, hey, I don't want to bring anybody else into the picture until I have to pay my taxes. And mom goes, "No, son, we're taking care," or dad. So no,
Mm.
we're going to take care of this ourselves. I don't trust, quote unquote, the man and I don't blame him, because it is expensive to hire an accountant. But when you're talking about some of the money that you're looking at, which are tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, the kid from Brendan Sorsby, 5.5 million to go to Texas Tech, that's NIL money for sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
he'd have an accounting firm to handle that, but it seems like that would be also someone to target. How are you targeting end users?
yeah. Well, first of all, I think that, like I mentioned previously, it's not to replace the CPA. And yes, they can be expensive, and this is why, if you can cut back on the hours that they're spending on your specific situation by having a tax pack, having things organized for them, that will hopefully significantly reduce the amount that you are paying to them to do that. So, but if you choose to do that by yourself, by all means, go ahead. But like I said, this is not to replace them. It's just to help the CPAs. And currently, targeting athletes, just where they're at, meeting them where they're at, which is on social media. So, making posts constantly, and doing things like this podcast, and to just constantly just connect with them, and also reach coaches, mentors that they're involved with, trainers that they're involved with, to as a one to many, because that's who they trust. So I'm also reaching out to them to see if they can be a advocate and liaison for this product, because I think it also enhance their offerings, because hey, I'm training you, but here's you trust me, here's something that'll also help
Yeah,
you
good
with
idea.
money,
Good
right?
idea. Trainers, Coaches. That's a good idea. It's
Yeah,
this will save you some money in the long run. It's not that expensive, and it'll save you some money in the long run, to say the
yeah,
least, and headaches. So where does Taxletic go from here? Maybe you just answer that question. What's next on the roadmap?
yeah, man. Just to grow the awareness. That's the main point right now. Just growing the awareness, and letting the athletes, kind of dictate where the next direction goes based on their need, how they're using the product. But in my mind, the next step is to not only allow the athletes to tell them how much they should set aside, but also actually have an account that they can put their funds in. So that's in my mind the next step. But wherever the athlete tells me, where the parents tell me how they're using the app, that's kind of the direction I'll go. So, but the main focus is just growing the brand, growing the awareness. That's where we're at right now.
That's what we're helping you do right now.
Yeah,
So I am Joey Flabitz. I just received $17,000 in NIL money from the University of Virginia. And what do I do now? What's the very first thing that they should do?
they should be happy, celebrate that if this is their first deal, be excited that that's a lot of money for 18-year-old, right? To have at one time. So be happy that you have that, and then
Get
hopefully
the app.
somebody, yeah, get that. Hopefully somebody in your corner, or you came across it and download the app and log your deal, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You got to log it, and just make sure everything that you have, your contract, your receipts, is put in there, and it'll tell you how much you need to set aside and open up a bank account separate from your personal, and stash the money away so that when it's time to pay, you have it ready and prepared.
I think there's a bigger picture to this, and there's probably
Yeah.
apps out there that do this, but being someone who has to keep track of my costs and my
Expenses.
obviously my expenses,
Yeah.
I could use this like right now, just to
Right.
have it because
Right.
going back and looking at the balled up, crinkled up, folded up receipts that I have from hotels and trying to, remember how much mileage I put on my car because it's up to 70 cents a mile now here in
Yeah.
California. This is probably has a much bigger application than just NIL.
Yeah, for sure. It does. There are products out there like you mentioned, but I just want to first serve the niche of these student athletes.
The unserved.
Yeah, just the unserved, because that's just a missing piece right there. And I think if nobody's going to help them, it just continue the cycle. They'll get to if they, God bless them, make it to the professionals. It's going to continue to happen.
Hmm.
Even in the professionals, they have programs and coaches and things like that to help them manage their money, and they still mess it up. So uh, you got to train them while they're young, right? That's an old adage. You got to train them up while they're young before they become adults. Because once you become an adult, you kind of get set in your ways, and it's hard to break those bad habits. So we want to make sure they develop good habits, and that's why I want to stay specific to this niche.
Well, you can also target kids who are in sports management as a major because they're on the university and they can say, look at, approach the players that are on the
Yeah,
various basketball, football, baseball, whatever track, and get them to sign up for it. And for everyone
yeah,
you sign up for it, you get a little deal, but you'll still, at least this is something that you could implement to create a relationship with those athletes moving down the road. Because
right.
they have to build their base of, especially if they're in sports management, more than likely they're going to have to build their base of clients. And this is a great way to get with them, say, hey, try this out because this could work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. I'll definitely look more into that. That's a good avenue.
Well, that's what we do. We are the prospect blueprint. It's not just for players, but it's for those who are in the general orbit gravitational pull of players and athletes. And certainly we're baseball focused, but this is for literally everybody in this on the scene right now in college sports because there's so much money, so much money in the game right now. It's completely out of control. And of course, as you mentioned, even high school players are beginning to get in the mix. There's a lot of money exchanging hands. But Alex Cowley of Taxletic.com, how can you be reached?
Yeah, you can reach me on all social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, X at Taxletic, and that's the best way to find me. Or you can email me at info@taxletic.com.
Taxletic.com. This is Kelly Kleiman. I am of the Prospect Blueprint, the founder and the grand podcaster. We thank you for joining us today. And if we could help you, of course, we could be reached at theprospectblueprint.com. And hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us, Alex.
I appreciate it. It was fun. Thank you.
Take care.